I know like you're always busy. It's so funny because I feel like whenever I'm texting, you're like, oh, I'm in a signing or like I'm doing this, but hold on, I'll call you back. So I know you're always busy. So I'm like, I hope I can get her to hop on here. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you being able to take some time out to talk to everybody and encourage them because they just need to see that it is possible, and well, first of all, let me introduce you. So Crystal from Indiana. Okay, so before you were a notary, Crystal, what were you doing, like business, work-wise?
I worked for the local county here in the recorder's office, actually.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that. In Indiana, and what city are you in Indiana?
LaPorte,
Indiana. And so you've been doing that. Or were you doing that and then you quit, or did you retire? Like, how'd you transition out of that?
Because the boss the head of the actual county recorder lost the election, so I did not like the new recorder coming in, so I was done and went to the trustee's office where my boss is now.
I like that. So, like, hold on, I'm gonna go over there where I like to be.
Yeah.
So, and then you found Notary how? So when was the first time? I know they do Notary in the office you worked at, right?
I didn't. It was back in 2012 that I got commissioned. You only had to be 18 and they did a background check. That was it. There was no training. There was no nothing. And before my husband and I got married, my now stepson lost his license because he got in some bit of a trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to do that. And that was the last time I had ever notarized because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
So then when I was in the recorder's office in 2017, I think, then I seen all the quitclaim deeds coming in. I started learning about land records working there and all that stuff. So then I was like, And then when the pandemic hit, I'm looking at all, I started finding like you and Notary Business Builder. And I'm like, whoa.
What is
I can actually do this for a living. So I started getting into it real quick. And I'm like, how do I do this? I've got to get into this.
I think a lot of people, like, they think that notaries don't make money. Like, they just think, oh, you just make like $5 here and there. And then, like, when you see it online, they're like, oh, six-figure notary. It's like, what? Like, what was your first impression when you saw like six-figure notary? Like, did you think it was possible to do?
No, I thought I'm like, there's no way. There's just no way.
You're lying. And I get that all the time. People are like, how? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. And I remember when you first saw the Built For You program and you enrolled, we talked the very first time. But tell me, when you first saw Built For You, was it the first time you saw Notary2Notary, or had you already been following for a while?
I had actually already been following you, and I took all your courses before the program came out.
Okay, good.
So I was already going through, and, after I finished them, then I was going back through and reviewing and, and I'm like, then you came out with this program and I'm like, ooh, do I really want to do this? And then I'm like, yes.
Yeah, and it's an investment. It's an investment, and you have to take it seriously. Like, if you're going to do it, you have like, and that's the thing I always say. It's like, I tell people, like, when you invest in education, you're investing in shortening that learning curve, right? One of the things that we were talking about on your first call is you said that you had like so many trainings, you felt like you were all over the place. Like, it was just like, yeah, tell me about that. Like, what were you like? How did you feel all over the place?
Well, I kept going back and forth, and when I first started getting into it, of course, when I first got commissioned, they don't tell you nothing because there was nothing like that that I knew of.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know read your notary handbook.
Yeah.
There was nobody to tell me that. So then I started getting into like Bill Soroka and all them before I found you. And I'm like, nah, I don't know. So I took a few courses and I'm just like, I don't know about this, So I was kind of back and forth, and then I started getting into it more, and then I found you and I took all your courses, and I'm like, wow. I just felt like really overwhelmed, and I'm like, but I've got to do this. And you kept stressing, read your notary handbook, read your notary handbook. So every weekend I'm reading it and going over and going over. I don't care how many times I read it.
I say it all the time. People don't listen to me. It's really important. It's really important.
And the biggest thing that I thought was instant fear that I had. So I think that was holding me back a little bit until I got into when you came out with the Built For You program. And if you remember, I was skeptical That's why I just did my first notary signing yesterday, loan signing, because I'm like, Vanessa, I don't know about the loan signing part.
And I love that you're continuing to push through. We're going to talk about some of the things that you've been through too. I love, like, on your first call, it seemed like you were a little nervous, like you had like a lot going on. And you're like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm jumping into it. Right. And I love that. I love that. I said, well, that's all. I said, like, I love your energy. Like, you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I don't know what's happening, but we're going to do it. You know, and that to me is like, if you have like the desire and the go, like the grit to do it, you'll get it done. And one thing too, I will say, and this, I say it all the time, you like, and I'm not picking, I'm being really honest. You text me a lot, like you text and email a lot. But one thing I say is those are the ones that end up being successful. Are the ones, I can tell you, anyone that I've seen that's gone through my program that has emailed a lot or called a lot or texted a lot, they're really invested and they're like focused and like, okay, how do I do this? Vanessa, help me with this. Because you're taking it seriously. You know, and I knew like, and I love them. I can tell when I see someone who's doing that, I know they're locked in. I know they're going to have this down to a science. Like, I know we got this.
And so, then you know my panic modes too, when I'm like,
there was that time you called me. Well, we'll talk about like the time you called me with the lady who was giving you a hard time. And I was just like, you know, just let it roll off your back because you're in business. And guess what? Some people are going to be butts sometimes. You're going to have people who are just all over the place. And you have to learn, you know, like somebody who works at McDonald's. When somebody comes to the drive-thru, they're going to be nice. The next one might be sad. The next one might be angry. The next one they're going to talk at all. Like, you don't know who's going to pull up to that window. But if you're in business, you have to serve everybody. And so it's just like, and that's why I say sometimes people have like, if I'm getting someone who's like a little snippy, like snippy, sometimes I'll just say, you know, you can go to your local UPS. And I'll just in case they just want to go, you know. Sometimes you gotta let people go. You gotta let them go fly, you know. But okay, so we got started. Let's just go through how we went through. It's a 13-week program, but of course it goes past 13 weeks because we really want to make sure that you're, you know, everything's solid for you. And so when we first got started, we talked about notary commission, reading the handbook. We went over like setting up your LLC and business foundations. Like it was really just a lock-in on structure and knowing how to operate the business, right? That was really what we focused. Do you feel like anything in that section you learned that you didn't already know?
Right. And that was kind of scary at first too, because I'm like, I went back and forth with that too, because I originally had, before you're like get an LLC, I did actually go through a doing business as and recorded it with the county recorder. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, the LLC, do I really want to do that? So I went back and forth with that for a while.
But you got to do it. We got to get it done. Yeah. We got to get it done the right way.
And it only took me like 5 minutes to do it. And then I'm like, okay. And then I used your words. Hey, I'm rocking and rolling now.
Yeah, so I'm invested. Let's go. I'm here to show up. And then, okay, so then from there, we did your website. And like afterwards, I'll showcase your website so you can see we designed your website, got your profile up. We did your Yelp. Remember when you did your Yelp page, you started getting calls like pretty quickly from that. Tell us about that.
That kind of shocked me because I think that was before the Google and all that went up. Mm-hmm. And I was actually sitting at my W-2 job. We didn't have any clients going on. We closed early. So I just kind of sat there and worked on and I didn't have it all the way finished at first. And then all of a sudden my phone started ringing and I'm like, what is happening here? And it freaked me out at first. I actually let it go to voicemail and I'm like,
yeah.
I went into panic mode and I'm like, okay, you got to calm yourself down first of all. And then you got to return that phone call right now.
Yeah. And how did your first call go? How did that go?
That actually was pretty good because she ended up being locally here, like the one of the nursing homes that I'm working with. Mm-hmm. She was very nice. And actually the social worker had called me beforehand to let me know that this person was going to call. Of course, it doesn't show a name when they call.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But she's like, I don't know how to find it. I'm like, well, you already had my card, but she messaged me on Yelp. So maybe she lost the card or something, or wasn't too sure she was going to go ahead with this or whatever. I'm not sure. But she actually there was another one that called me while I was driving because I can hook up my phone to my car so I don't have to, hold it while I'm driving.
Yeah.
It's just been, and a lot of them are um, from here in LaPorte.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of shocked because, we got the UPS store. There's a couple other notaries that are actually 24/7
Mm-hmm.
that are a little bit closer to them, even though I'm only 10 minutes from them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when that phone starts ringing, it's like, whoa.
And I like that you said that. 'Cause a lot of people, they get discouraged. They feel like, oh, the market's oversaturated. Like don't count yourself out. Don't count yourself out. There's plenty of work for everybody. Plenty of work for everybody. There's no way, even if you did 10 a day, there's more than 10 notarizations happening in your city. I can guarantee it. Okay. So it's just like, put yourself out there. And then too, you made a lot of your first, notarizations through Yelp. Some people get a lot of their first through Google or through any other marketing piece. Like, you never know what piece is going to take off for you. It's a matter of setting them all up, so that way you have success in numbers.
Yeah. And then that first signing that I had was actually from, like, my husband used to work at the South Shore Railroad here. He's retired, and then his buddy Todd is retired. And his wife was actually just retired from Centier Bank, who is in good with Meridian Title here locally.
Oh, good.
So that's where now I'm getting all of them from.
It's all about networking. As I said, there's so much money out here in the notary space. And like when you first started up, your whole first like actually getting out, you were locked in on general notary work, really heavy. And people sleep on general notary work. They always say, oh, I just want to do loan signing. Loan signing is great, but general notary work is great too because you get paid the same day, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the general notary works you've done. I know you hit some nursing homes and some attorneys. So tell us about that. How is that looking for you?
Now I have, actually, when I got home last night, I just got a call from a third nursing home in LaPorte. I have two in Michigan City now who are just 2 seconds apart from each other. Then I got one here in LaPorte now, who I'm Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm like, what?
That's
So
good though.
now I'm going to LaPorte Hospital to talk to them.
Good.
The head whatever over there. Like I said, now I got Meridian Title. They're kind of booking me up quite a bit now.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing. People always think they have to have tons of clients. You don't have to have like a whole Rolodex. Now we do say expand market reach, but you're going to have your solid set that's going to keep you busy. You know what I mean?
A lot of the general stuff that I've been doing, which has been pretty simple because I'm used to doing them, is just a simple power of attorney.
Yeah.
And that's all it's been, but it's been consistent.
Yeah, and I know you said like you've always had a power of attorney, and you partnered with a couple of attorneys that are giving you consistent work in that space, right?
Yeah, because they don't, they just do the paperwork and they're like, hey, here, can you do this? Because I'm right next door to a few of them right there where I do my W-2 job. And my boss is really cool because if there's no client, she's like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, what? And I'm getting paid twice, I guess.
Boom. I like it. And then too, okay, I want to hit a couple of things. You have a lot of really cool successes that I like to share. You made a lot of money, right? When like in the beginning, like super fast. And I was talking about that. And you made quite a bit of money in the nursing home space, but then you also got one of the nursing homes invited you to teach there, right? To do like a presentation.
Yeah, it was a presentation to because it was an outside thing. It was really nice outside that day. They were having like their bake sale, some kind of fundraiser or whatever. So they wanted me, and they sent up a tent for me and everything to educate their residents and the residents' family members. And I'm like, oh, I've never done public speaking.
Well, before you tell us what you did tell us how much they paid you.
I think that one was 1,000.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was like, what?
And that is like actually a common thing. So that's how a couple of my other students, they do that. They actually talk to the nursing homes and get them to have them come teach. And so when you said you got one like so quick, it was like, oh wow, well, look at that. So now tell us what you had to do when you got there.
Well, when I got there, so I set up everything, and I just set up like the examples that I had from like different, what do you call it? Powers of attorney that you could buy at like Staples or over here local at Kemp's, their office supply stores. And I just showed them like different types of notary certificates that could be out there with different types of that, and I explained to them also that whoever does these, or if you go to an attorney, they have to know what kind of notarization. I'm not allowed to tell you. Um, like, again, like I'm not an attorney. I can't draw up the documents for you. If you get them offline, sometimes that, most of the time they will have the attached notary certificate with it, just things like that
Yeah.
while they're eating their pastries. And I'm going, I want some of them too.
And that's one of the nursing homes that keeps you pretty busy. The one that had you speak.
All the time. It's like I'm going there now. I went from 1 day a week to 2 days a week, and now I'm going there 5 days a week.
Wow. So how much do you think you're making like a day with your notary business? I know it fluctuates because some days are busier than others, but if you were to guess, how much do you think you're making on average a day?
Well, being with the loan signings now, I think I'm averaging, well, yesterday was a good day, 975
I
out.
know. So you think she made 970. We said 975 yesterday, and you said you still had 4 more power of attorneys to do. 900.
That was at the nursing home. Although I think I'm undercutting myself, so we'll talk a little more about that with these nursing homes.
For sure.
But now I think it's, what did I do? I did something else between speaking now and whatever. I think I'm averaging, some days are slow, so 500 and 1,000
That's good.
a day.
$1,000 a day. That's what I'm saying. And people keep thinking like, you can't make no money in this space. I'm like, yes, you can. You just have to work. Like you have to put that work in. And the beautiful thing is that $500 to $1,000 a day, that was primarily general notary work. Primarily. We're just getting into loan closing. Like we're just diving into that. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's why I said, like, there are some notaries out there who build their business just doing general notary work. And they just say, oh, this is good. I can do this. But I love that you're now saying, all right, let me add on the loan closing piece to this. You're going to like it. You're going to like it. And it's something that's one of my favorite things to do because I don't know why I like it so much. It's fun. I like it. It's fun for me to do.
It is. And what helped a little bit too is I got on this, I don't remember. I think she's a California notary. She has these intake sheets.
Mm-hmm.
One for specialty notary work, general notary work, questions to ask if they're in a nursing home, if they're like that. And then she's got one for specifically for a reverse mortgage package, just pre-questions. And when you get the package, you can mark off what you have in the package.
Mm-hmm.
And some for, just conventional loan packages. And that really helped me out a lot too, to prepare and look at and plus the instructions you have to read too, so.
You gotta read the instructions. How much, so the loan signing that you did, how much did they pay you for that? The one that you got, the first one?
The first one, well, both of them yesterday were $250
a piece.
A piece.
Okay.
I know.
Well, that's because you're going right through title, because you're going right through Meridian.
Yeah.
If you go right through title, they're going to pay you well. And people are always so afraid to go to title, but title pays very well. But I always say, start off with signing services if you're new, just in case, so you can, yada, yada. Because, when you go with a title company, they're not going to give you really support. They're not going to give you instructions. They're more like, hey, just take your package, just the information, go ahead. Signing services more so give you lots of instructions. They want to call you and check on you. And, they're like holding your hand throughout the whole thing. And that's why you also split your pay with a signing service, because they have to hold your hand. But definitely one of my, when I get a title company, I'm like screaming and shouting because I know I get my full closing fee, and so now that you're with Meridian and they're paying you $250 per closing. If you can get like 3 to 4 in a day, you're already at $1,000. Boom, again, know. So wait, now how does your husband feel about this? And how does he feel about all this newfound business and the money you're making?
Are you kidding? He's retired. Of course, he's from Alabama, so he's just coming around. He's going out there and make that money, honey.
I love. Is he gonna do it too? Is he gonna do it too?
No.
Do it. You gotta get him out here in these notary streets. Y'all gonna be out there notarizing together. Power couple.
The only thing that he will do is like certain areas out here you really don't want to go by yourself to. So he will sit in the car until
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's one thing because he's like, you you are not going by yourself there.
Yeah. And that's something that I too like for myself. So I have rules of where I go, when I go where, and definitely after hours. So after hours, there's cutoffs. There are cutoffs, or we can meet at a Panera or a McDonald's, but it's not going into certain communities. And that's the beautiful thing about having your own business. You can set your own rules, And then one thing that I know we haven't dived hugely into yet, because we're definitely but you're rocking and rolling even without, is the e-notary. I know you're on the platforms, you're getting signed up and you're moving, but that's another option when people say, oh, if it's later, where the case is, you can always offer, we can do it as an e-notary. And sometimes you're able to convert them to e-notary. So that's just an option for later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely an option. So we're focusing primarily now, we're big focused on general notary work. So, someone did ask a question. So when you're working with these attorneys on average, what are they paying you to do like an estate package or estate doc?
The estate, my first one was only 150.
Not only, that's a good thing. Not only.
Well, I did have one because then he'd had some extra documents aside from the estate planning. So that one he paid me about 300 for that, or 350, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Attorneys are definitely one of my favorites.
Well, some of them locally here, they're
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
I now that I'm not personally working for attorneys, because I used to work for attorneys most of my adult life in Chicago, they're really hard to work for because they're not nice people.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
And some of them just, I'm only going to pay you this much and that's it. If not, I'll find somebody else. Well, then you can go find somebody else.
Yeah. No, I get that. And that's the beauty. It's your business. So you get to pick and choose. But you said the first one paid you 150. And then what's your average now that you're getting?
My average is between about 150 and 250.
Okay. And how long does it take you to do them when you're there?
Now I'm down. It used to take me about an hour, a little over an hour.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Now I've got it down to 35, 40 minutes because it just goes so quick with some of these. Well, I'm not going to say it. So far, I have not had a client where it has been difficult. So I've been able to go quicker over it because they've already went over it with the attorney and they're like, yeah, I understand. I'm like, oh, you're easy.
But the thing I want you to think about too, because you said, well, sometimes it's an hour, over an hour. To be getting paid, let's just say even ballpark $200 an hour.
Yeah.
Most people are working for $20 an hour. Okay.
Right.
So $200 an hour is still a good thing. Even if it's taking you an hour to get it done, you still got $200 for an hour. Okay. Whereas people are at work all day for 8 hours and they may walk home after taxes with $100, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe taxes is a big maybe. Okay. That is super cool. So and then someone else asked, when you're doing the POAs at the nursing homes, ballpark estimate, what do you think you're getting then?
Well, see, and here's where I think I'm undercutting myself because those I've seen, where other notaries are charging 75 just for a power of attorney. Mm-hmm. I only started out with this one nursing home that I've been working with for a while. I only started out with $10, but now I have upped it to 40. Okay. And now that's before I seen the 75. So I'm a little bit of afraid to go overboard because they're only 2 seconds from my other job. And I hate to,
So are you giving the rates to the nursing home, to the social worker directly, or to the clients themselves?
No, the social worker just sends the families to me. She hands out my cards and she's out of it from there unless they feel that they want the social worker to be present or something.
Yeah. So I would say what I always do, slowly increase it again. And if you get pushback, then that's your cap. But
Okay.
keep increasing it and see what you get. That's one thing that I learned. I probably like 2016, I had a friend of mine who was also a notary. He was a gentleman, and we were just talking about rates, and he told me his rates, honey. And I said, whoa, hold on a second. Like, and that's when I realized I was charging too low and I didn't know. And so I always say, like, of course, do market research, figure out what everybody else is charging, but then always slowly increase your rates. The market will give you pushback if you're too high, but it will never tell you if you're too low. The only way you'll know if you're too low is if people say, oh, that's it. But people don't always say that.
Yeah, and I've had that. There was one time, like when, like the recent 2 weeks ago or whatever it was now that two family members in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That was a challenge. So I referred out to another notary who I haven't met personally, but I've seen on Google. She's got the 5 stars. They love her. She's right close to where I work too,
Mm-hmm.
and that nursing home. And then, so I referred her to the client at the nursing home, and they came back and said, well, we'll just wait for you because she's charging too much. And I went, oh my God, I am so undercutting myself. That was boom, the light went off.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
You just slowly, gradually pick up over time. That's it. But the beautiful thing that you just mentioned too is that she's in your same area, very close to you. And you can see she's busy and you're busy. Once again, markets are not oversaturated. It's about just being available, because there are going to be times when you're not available. When you're at an attorney's office closing something, it's plenty of people in your city who still needs document notarized. So they're going to call other people. So you have to get out of that mindset that there's not enough work, because there always is work. And you got to think about it. The places that you've hit, now we do in the Built For You program, we have you make sure you go to nursing homes, like you really hit, and you probably still have more nursing homes to hit, do you think, or you think you hit them all?
I have a few more that are a little further out, but maybe 10 miles out than these 3 that I have here locally, like in New Prairie, and I actually have some in South Bend. That's about 40 minutes, but there's a couple there too. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. But you hit most of them. So, and then you hit a lot of the attorneys. And the thing is, you're never done. You always keep working it. You keep working it and you keep building. But being able to average between $500 and $1,000 a day is more than most Americans make, period. Like, period. You know what I'm saying? And most Americans don't even make 6 figures. So just doing $500,000 a day, you already would, if you can keep that consistent for the rest of the year, you're already putting yourself in 6 figures. You're already making more than most Americans make. And it's doing something that people think, and this, you have to kind of go back to that mindset when you first hear about it. It's like, notaries don't make any money. Not only do they make money,
yeah,
but they make more than most Americans make. Think about that. Like, that's the beautiful part.
And now I get to go to my first conference.
I saw. So you're going to the NNA conference next year. I'll be there as well. So this is going to be fun. It's always a ton of fun. And then you're going to learn so much. You're going to learn, like, it's not just about the conference. It's the people there. There's new people, but there's experience. And then there's people who've been there in the business for a long time. And those are the ones you want to pick their brain, because it's like, well, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years, full time. And so people think that this business is like, oh, it's a side hustle. Oh, you can do this as a career, very much as a career, as a whole business here. It's about learning how to do it. And every time we talk, it's like, while I'm talking to you, I'm like looking at my chat too. And I see a lot of my other students who've made 6 figures. Tamika's in the chat. She's in Virginia. Maria, I want to say Michigan, I think. And she makes great money. I don't know if you hit 6 figures, and let me know if you have. But a lot of my students are also in the chat. They're like commenting. It's like, I love being able to help people get to this space. And the beautiful thing, I know you said before, that you love about the Built For You program, was that it was organized. Like, you knew what you had to do each week versus just being all over the place and like, well, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people think, I'm telling you, people think like, oh, I know how to do it, but it's like, for me, like, I've been doing it so long that I can see what the problem is when people are doing things. Like, people say, oh, I have a website. And I look at it and say, nope, this is wrong. It's not working. Let's fix it. Or, you know, like, oh, I need a W-9. They send me over chicken scratch and it's like scanned and I see the table and a bowl beside it. And it's like, this is not going to work. Or they send me a headshot and it's like them at the club. Whoa, no, what is this? You know? And then it gets even deeper than that because then we go into like HubSpot, like me, like teaching you guys how to do the CRM and, you know, getting your client list and like learning how to do those follow-ups. You know, it's really about learning how to build a business that will last and that's sustainable. Not just a fly by night. Oh, this is something that you know what I mean? Like something that's like, I just picked this up, but actually learning how to make money in the space. So yeah. So tell me more about how you feel about where you've gotten when you started in the program and then how you feel now.
Total fear and panic in the beginning.
Okay.
And sometimes through it because, you know, I didn't, like I told you a few weeks back when I had the disgruntled ones or, you know, because they're going through so much. So I was kind of a little panicked about that. But now I'm starting to, I guess, what do you call, level out and just say, you know what, I'm just jumping in, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get a little more relaxed and just going with the flow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because it's getting wonderful.
I know. And the one thing I too want to highlight. So when you joined, it was when we first launched the program. I think the program was like 2487, I think.
Yeah.
And you have since made that back beyond. Like you have since made way beyond what you invested into the program, which is great. And that's why I say people look at like, well, it's 2487. It was 2487. Now I think it's 2897. But when you look at the investment, it's like you have to look at, okay, I'm putting in 2457 or what have you. And then, but now you have a business that generates you between $500 and $1,000 a day. So literally in a week's time, you already made that back. And then you continue to grow from here. You know, it's like the math just makes so much sense. It just makes so much sense, you know. And I tell everybody that's interested, of course, there is the payment plan. So you don't have to put it all down at once. And the beautiful part is the first like 2 to 3 months is where the bulk of the work is happening. If you're on a payment plan, you're only paying like $100 a month, give or take, depending on, you know, how you're
right.
set it up. So you can start making great money pretty quickly, you know, in the program. But I will say, you got to know, you got to listen, you got to follow instructions. Follow instructions, because I will kick an email back so fast. If I say, hey, I need this, and you send it and it's wrong, nope, send it back, do it again, because it's got to be right. I'm never going to send anybody out there. I've had people who have like, they tell me their LLC name they wanted, and this is no shade if you're listening, you know that's you. And they'll say, I want my LLC name to be this. And I'll say, no, we're not doing that. It's just stop it. We're not doing that. Okay. I've had people like send me pictures and they're like, this is my headshot. No, it's not. Go take another one. You are not using that. No. Okay. Because I'm putting my name on it. And I've had people who say, well, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. And I have to give a disclaimer. I'm not your mom. I can't make you do anything. But I'm not going to put my name on it. You're not going to say, Vanessa did that. No, she didn't. Vanessa's going to tell you what to do. Now, should you decide to do something different, you can do what you want to do. But if I'm telling you how to do something, I'm putting my name on it and I'm going to say this works. You know, and so I had people back a lot of times, like, stop doing that. Not you. You listen. You listen the entire time. You know, and I think sometimes, like, I remember one time you sent me an email with all these. I said, wait, stop. Don't do that. Like, I had to like slow down. Wait, hold on. Let me get in here. Real quick. Wait a minute. I got to make sure that we're going the right way and everything's set up, you know, because like, the way I want it to be. And even when you say, like, I remember one time I was like, really, I think we signed up for field inspections and we signed you up for loan signing. But I remember we talked once, you said you're really like locked in on general notary work. And I said, that's fine. Like, you can stay there for a while. When you're ready, you know, we've signed you up with field inspections and loan signing. So then you just follow with those companies and now you have more revenue options coming in. And that's the beautiful thing about notary work is in the program, we talk about general notary work, loan closing, e-notary, field inspections, fingerprinting, weddings. So you have all these things that you can do. And you're right now still doing $500 to $1,000 primarily general notary work, and you haven't even added on the rest of the things yet, and you don't have to. But if you were to think what you're going to add, do you think you're going to add it all on, or do you think you're going to like, where do you think you're going to lay your head for the most part?
I'm not sure yet. I did get, that's the other thing I wanted to tell you. There is a daycare out in Crown Point. My best friend actually works there. She's a cook there.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have fingerprinting for the kids. So now I'm going out to talk to them next Monday.
Oh, good. To offer that service?
Yes.
And we sent you a fingerprinting kit.
Yes.
Boom! Look at that. So we also do supplies in the Built For You program. So you got a whole little setup going now. Like, okay, well now I can do fingerprinting.
Yeah, I forgot about that, and I'm like, because I'm trying to remember all these other things, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, the daycare, because my best friend works out there, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, and that's what you said. There's so much to be done. Like so really quick though, walk us through like a day to day of what you work on in your business, whether it's like marketing or going to nursing homes. So what's your average day look like now?
So most of the time, well, we'll see. I just started the loan signing, so we'll see how that works out. I get called, like I said, 5 days a week for the one nursing home, and they're right close together. So that's basically like I want to try and designate like Mondays or Thursdays for those two loan signings. I got to really catch when I can, except when this Meridian calls me, because Jennifer, the real estate, the retired, she set me up with her. So I'm going to try and take everything I can.
Yeah, and they're paying $250 a pop.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna take those.
But it's just like, I guess it's from, and especially with my boss, because I work 3 days a week with her. So when we don't have, that's a different type of client there that we have come in there. But like around 11 o'clock lunchtime, I can use my lunch hour. Or if we don't have any appointments in the afternoon, she's like, go, pick it up. I'm like, what? And
Like,
she not only pays me for still the rest of the day, but I'm getting paid to go from these from Meridian to go notarize.
So you're still working your full-time job. Is it full-time or part-time?
It's part-time. It's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
So you're working a part-time job and doing the notary business, but you're still making the $500 to $1,000 a day. I like that.
I can't, I'm having a hard time giving up the part-time job. One, because my boss is awesome, but two, because she's paying me $22 an hour for 3 days a week.
Yeah, I get it. And you like her, because I will tell you it is that. Because if you didn't like her, if she was really like getting on your nerves and driving you up a wall,
I'd be gone.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to do this. But that's good because you're now everything you're doing that you like and you enjoy. So tell me this really quick. I have 2 or 3 more questions and I'll let you go. I know it's getting late. So where do you see yourself with this notary business within the next year? Like, where do you think it's going to be?
In the next year?
Yeah.
Well, I still think it's going to be right at 6 figures, just about, unless it really, something happens that, but that's what I'm working towards, 6 figures every year.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the part-time job. That's another, that I'm going to have to discuss with my boss, although she's like, hey, if you want to, it's no skin off my nose, you go do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but that's another elected position too, where what she's doing, she's a township trustee.
Mm-hmm.
I think we still have another 2 years before that election comes up. So that'll depend a lot if she's going to run again, because she's 66 now. So, and her kids live in Indianapolis, and so we're kind of teetering there. But yeah, the notary business, I'm not actually that concerned about it anymore.
I get it. Okay.
I'll keep continuing. I'll keep continuing.
I like it. And then what would you say is the biggest benefit that doing this business has given you, like you and your family? What would you say is the biggest benefit, like the biggest benefit?
Well, financial freedom. spending more time. I can pick and choose, times or what I want to take now.
Mm-hmm.
I can
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I can choose to work weekends or not work weekends.
That's a big one.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, get to see the grandkids and holidays and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of my house.
Yeah. That's my biggest thing. Time and financial freedom. Like, make as much money as you want, and then you can choose when to get up and not get up. Like, once you get that, you're solid. I can get up, I cannot get up. And then I have money. So I can do what I want to do. Because everyone's goal. Have money, do what you want to do. Okay.
And go to conferences every year. I haven't been on a plane since 2001.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoa.
Are you scared?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. You'll be fine. You got this. I'll be there too. We probably won't be on the same flight because you're coming from a different area, but I'll be on the plane. We might see her there in the airport. And then what would you say if you can give a piece of advice to anyone listening that is new as a new notary, or they're like let's do two. New advice to new notaries, and then advice to notaries who are doing it, but they're not seeing the results they want. So what's your new notary advice?
New notaries, I'm going to go with what you have taught me. Read your handbook. Always.
Yeah.
And then don't be like, well, there's going to be, I don't know if some people are fearless, but get over that fear and just jump right in and do it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That was my biggest thing, was the fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those are the two really main things, just jump right in there and do it. And you can start, go put yourself out there, get your website, start talking to people, network, and take the jobs, whether you want it full time. You're going to start seeing some results. You got to get out there and do the work, though.
That's a fact.
And take this program, go through this program, because that will really help tremendously. Trust me, I know.
Like, I know. I know. And really goes through everything. We go over everything. There's no stone left unturned. And the beautiful thing too, just so you know, I know you know already, you can always call me. Like, I'm a person. I'm not like a computer system, like I'm not like a call a bank that's like, oh, we'll try to connect you. Yeah. Like, you have my cell phone number. You text me and call me whenever. Like, I'm not, just because like you're done, like technically done with the program, you can always call me or email me or, text me. I'm always available. I don't go anywhere. Like, I have students from 2019 who still text me and call me. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be a notary probably for forever. So where am I going? I'm not going anywhere. So I'm always available. So then what would be your advice to the ones that are doing it, but they're not getting the results they're looking for? They're doing the notary business. Like, they're trying to get into it, but they're not making six figures. What would you say?
That's a hard one. Because I wasn't until I took the program.
Take the program.
Yeah. That's a big, that's how, yeah. Take the program.
Take the program. Like, take the program.
Follow the instructions.
Follow instructions.
Put the work in, take the courses, always continuing education. And get out there, start putting yourself out there. You'll start getting calls, and then you'll get referrals from other notaries, network with other notaries in your area. That's a big thing that I'm finding out too. So, and that helps a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Because and the reason why notaries refer work is because if I get calls and I can't do it, that actually kind of hurts my business. So I want to be like, hey, I have someone, and I refer work all the time, because that way it's not like they called me and I couldn't help, right. Maybe a bad review or something. So I'm always sending work out if I can't do it. Always. I'm like, okay, let her do it. Let him do it. Yeah. There you go. Someone get this done. So it's good. Definitely connect with other notaries. I love that. Well, yeah. I'm super excited. I appreciate you for coming on this YouTube channel with me and talking about your notary business. And what'd you say your husband says now? What do you say? Get that money, baby.
Go out there and make that money, girl.
I love it. I love that he's supporting you. And I said, well, if he decides to jump in it, he's probably like, he's gonna sit back and let you, like, she's making $1,000 a day. What am I doing? I'm gonna relax. Right. Retire. Just retire. We got this. But no, I'm excited to see like where you get next year. And as the more you grow, we can even like not yet, but the more you grow, maybe next year we can even talk about having a boutique signing service where you have other notaries underneath you that come through and they just do the work for you. That's another option that we can get into too later. But just like forecasting out. Yeah, that's down the road. That's down the road. We're not there yet. I don't want you to be like, whoa, what's happening? No, later. Right now, we're focusing on general notary work and loan closing. That's
don't put me in panic mode. I just got out of that.
I said, wait, stop. I saw it happening. Never mind. Slow it down. But you're doing really well, and it makes me I really am really happy for you. It makes me happy to see people get into it and change their lives, because it changed my life. When I first hit my first 6 figures out in 2016, I told y'all my story. I was working at Qdoba. Okay, I was working at Qdoba, and I was working at a call center. I think making $14 an hour. Okay, $14 an hour is a whole lot different than $100 an hour. Okay,
that's for sure.
Yeah. So being able to help people like make money and stop doing things they hate just because they think everyone's doing it, everyone works a job they hate. No, they don't. If you can learn how not to, it can change your life. So that makes me happy.
The one thing I remember when I first seen you on a I forget, I think it was on YouTube. I seen where you were telling people you were talking about your full-time jobs and whatever, you're working at a place that you hate. And I started laughing because it is so true. You're like, you're kidnapping yourself.
Yeah. It's true.
That is right.
Yourself, and you took yourself to this job because it's true. Because if someone else had tied you up and made you go to a place and made you do work you didn't want to do and made you do it every day, you would call the cops on them. But you do it to yourself every day. You kidnap yourself every day and drag yourself into that job, and you make yourself work for money that's not enough, and you don't like your job. You're a kidnapper.
that has stuck in my head the whole time for so many years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is. But it's also just like people just get used to it because like their friends do it, their mom, their dad, like their neighbors, and it's crazy. That I was on a call today with a notary company actually who wanted to partner for e-notary stuff, and she was just like, oh, well, thank God it's Tuesday. It's not Friday yet. And then when she says it, it's just like, oh, you have a job you don't like, huh? But she was in the notary. She's more so in the tech space. But it's like, I don't even care what day of the week it is, because the day of the week is irrelevant because I actually enjoy what I do every day. So I don't look forward to Fridays because a Friday is like a Monday. I don't care if it's Sunday because a Sunday and a Monday is like a Wednesday and a Thursday. And when you get that lifestyle where you're actually not having to worry about, trying to make happy hour on a Friday because you hate your job, and every day is beautiful and every day you love what you do, you have a way more peaceful life, way more, 1,000 times over. But okay. Thank you so much, Crystal. You are the best ever.
I can say the same to you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for coming on here. And I know I'm going to talk to you again probably tomorrow. If you need me, text me.
On Thursday is actually our last call for the program.
Yeah. But you can always call me.
Oh, yeah. I'll go. Oh, you know it.
Yeah,
I'll be calling.
It's the last official call, but you can call me whenever you want to. Don't ever feel like you can't call me or email. You can always call, text, email. I'm always available. Always. Cool.
And I will see you at the conference next year too.
See you at the conference. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.